The scene at Watkins Glen International, the 11-turn road course in upstate New York, where the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series is racing on this beautiful afternoon. The gloom and doom weather forecasts that were being offered up this morning have not panned out. It's been a wonderful afternoon for most of the race, and then it got kind of ugly near the end. Kyle Busch started on pole, rained out qualifying, field lined up according to points. Dale Jr. took the lead on lap number 2. He started second. Jr. has been out front for quite a bit of this event, 33 of the 82 laps so far. Turn 1's been a trouble spot.
Oh, you see Juan Pablo Montoya sails it in there, starts wheel hopping. The car slides off. It doesn't spin, but not so lucky for Patrick Carpante and P.J. Jones. They get together and spin.
Jimmy Johnson had a little tire trouble.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson was really fast today. Runs off the track here, and we believe this is where he came into some tire trouble. Shortly afterward, had to come down, change those left side tires.
Cut left rear dropped Jimmy to 31st in line. Kyle Busch has done most of the leading today, except for this little part here where he gave up the lead to Tony Stewart for a lap, trying to help Tony gain those 5 bonus points and help secure his place in the chase. This race relatively caution-free. Only one caution through the first 64 laps. Then here was the second one.
Oh, yeah, Travis Bottle gets off the racetrack and brings all this rocks onto the track. NASCAR's got to throw the caution flag because of that, and that lets Dale Jr. get hung out on the racetrack, and he's got to pit under caution now. Goes all the way to the back of the pack, ruining his chances.
His team just didn't play the strategy right so far today. Ryan Newman running third.
Ryan Newman comes down, just completely misses the corner, slides back onto the racetrack, backs out there, driver's side. The entire field's coming by. Give the whole field a kudos spin. Head up. Great job by their spotters, because that's a very precarious situation. Turned out great, though, for everyone.
That led to this just after a restart.
Wait, Michael McDowell's trying to pass on the inside, gets ahead of the 38 car, David Gilliland. And look at this wreck, and take a look at Sam Harris. Bam! In the air. Barrels really helped save him on that one.
That was quite a lick. You see Bobby Labonte gets a tough shot there, hits very hard. David Gilliland gets whacked by Joe Nemechek. Reed Sorensen comes flying in there. Poor Max Pappas gets his race car tore up. It was bedlam down there.
9 cars involved in the accident that has had us under the red flag now for nearly 40 minutes. You see the cars stopped out on the backside of the course, all shut down, drivers strapped in, hot, sweaty, ready to go finish this thing, and got to wait while they clean up over in the exit of turn number 11. A lot of the cleanup has been because of those barrels protecting the end of pit wall, but I don't think anybody would argue it's worth waiting to clean that up.
Oh, no, that really did a great job. There is no doubt about that. I mean, just look at Sam Hornish. He slammed that thing, driver's side first, hit those barrels, and all that impact-resistant foam that our Tim Brewer was showing you really held up good. And this car is still on the racetrack, still in competition, and he's still 34th.
That's incredible.
He's still 34th in the points. Holding on.
Yeah, a couple things, kind of subplots going on here in the race today. The top 35 in owner points. Very important because those 35... Yeah, that's good news.
Pit road is closed. Pit road is closed.
Very good news as word goes out there for the cars to fire up. The top 35 in owner points are guaranteed a spot in next week's race. Well, there are only 44 points from 35th place Sam Hornish up to 33rd place Michael Waltrip, and Hornish is only 10 points to the good on Michael McDowell right now. So that could change in these last laps of this race. Check out our owner points here as they stand right now, with Hornish being on the bubble, though he's actually tied with A.J. Allmendinger, who's up 3 spots in today's race. Allmendinger running 9th right now on the racetrack.
8 very important laps for Sam Hornish as well as Allmendinger. We're going to see how this flushes out. This is going to be very, very interesting.
And then Doc was telling you earlier about the top 12 and the race to the chase right now and how close those standings are. So that's just some of the subplots going on here as we get these final 8 laps ready to go in Watkins Glen. So before the wreck, all 43 cars still running, 30 of them on the lead lap. Right now we've got 33 cars on the lead lap, and we're going to be missing a few of those involved in that wreck when we go back under green.
Back at Watkins Glen International, the cars are rolling once again. Aerial coverage from high above this beautiful facility, brought to you by our good friends at Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR, helping NASCAR drivers get to the finish line for over 50 years. We have had a red flag here due to a grinding crash involving 9 cars in turn 11. Again, the cars involved: Bobby Labonte, Dave Blaney, Hornish, Gilliland, Pappas, Sorensen, Nemechek, Ryan Newman, Michael McDowell, and the 78 car of Joe Nemechek. We just mentioned he was involved. So Sam Hornish on pit road getting some work done on the 77 car. Look at that car. It's broadsided those barrels and still able to roll and run on the racetrack.
Yeah, it's very important they get this car back out there. As we're just talking about the top 35 in the points, he's right there right now, tied for that 34th spot. And this is very important they can get back out there and at least make some laps and stay on the lead lap if possible.
Great day for Kevin Harvick so far, too. He's in 6th spot. This is a good recovery for this team. They needed a good finish.
Yeah, Matt Kenseth sitting back there in 11th. I think this is a huge day for them. I know yesterday they weren't that good in practice, but if he can end up somewhere around there, he's got himself in the top 12 right now.
5 of the top 7 drivers have not won a race in 2008. The only 2 in the top 7 are Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin that have won. So a lot of hungry guys out there. Tony Stewart, we mentioned, hasn't won since this race a year ago. Marcus Ambrose, only his 3rd ever start, so he's right behind Tony. How aggressive is he going to be? There's Marcus from 43rd starting spot. What a great job for the Australian driver. Juan Pablo Montoya. He won an Infineon in his 17th career start a year ago. You know how aggressive he is. You know what happened in Mexico City last year when he bumped his own teammate to get to victory lane. And here are the guys that are doing a heck of a job just trying to piece together Joe Nemechek's Chevy.
They're trying to make a car out of this thing. They got a lot of damage to try to fix.
We had a huge wreck there, but we talked all these scenarios. Who's in the top 12? Who's in the top 35? Who's outside? We still have 6 hard laps of racing to go here. A lot of things can change, and when they throw the green flag, there's a lot going to happen as they get to turn 1, Andy.
Yeah, one thing they don't need are these wrecked cars out there running with pieces flying off of them. So NASCAR will be watching very carefully and making sure these guys have these cars repaired well enough to be back on the racetrack.
See these guys scrubbing their tires, trying to get some heat back in them. They've been there for over 40 minutes that they've been sitting there, and they want to get the tires not only cleaned off, but get some heat back in them because they know as they get down to turn 1, that thing needs to stick.
Rusty Wallace mentioned that your brakes are now really cool. You're going to have good brakes. Can you have too good of brakes if you're not careful going into 1?
Not really. I think they've had a lap to warm them up, so they're going to be okay. They should be right where they want them.
Here, this is getting after it right here. I think he's just taking that little frustration right there on the hood of that car.
Trying to get Nemechek back on the racetrack. Pace car pulling away. Be 6 to go as they come down this time. Who will it be? Will Kyle Busch get win number 8? Will his teammate Tony Stewart get his first win?
They just called it off. You saw the pace truck pull back on the racetrack.
We had a splitter, we are told, a piece of debris off the front of one of the cars.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. These cars, a lot of cars involved in this wreck.
Juan Pablo, Dale Jarrett, the ESPN. You have a copy?
Yes, Phil. How are you?
Hey, Juan, you've had a great day, but assess your chances for winning this thing for us in these last 5 laps.
It's going to be pretty hard. You know, we'll give it our best. We'll see where we end up. You know, I think we've got a fast enough car to win. It really hurt us at the beginning of the race, starting so far back. You know, as I said before, you know, we're going to have to use so much of the brakes and stuff just to get here that it's been pretty hard on the car. But I think we've got a good enough car. You know, I think we're way faster than 21. He's just been close to Laura and me a lot. And I think we'll be okay. I think we're going to pass very similar pace to the 20 and 18.
All right, Juan, we'll let you get ready to get started. Thanks.
Juan very calm, and but you know what? If you've known him, if you watched him in open-wheel racing in IndyCar, you watched him in Formula One, you know how aggressive he is. He won the Grand Prix of Monaco, the crown jewel in Formula One. He's won the Indianapolis 500. He got his first NASCAR win in Mexico City. Got a little bump of his teammate there with a few laps to go. And he won an Infineon in Cup racing a year ago. Some of the international winners. Juan Pablo Montoya, you see his success. From Bogota, Colombia, Earl Ross won the Canadian, won at NASCAR Sprint Cup. Mario Andretti out of Italy. In fact, Max Pappa's hoping to be able to become the second Italian to win at NASCAR.
How about Larry Pollard right there? He won a Nationwide Series race. He's from Canada.
Marcus Ambrose won here yesterday. The Australian, of course, Ron Fellows has 5 wins at this racetrack in Nationwide and Cup Series racing. Let's listen in on the 20 team, the Tony Stewart radio.
Todd, can you ask the NASCAR officials to watch both the 21 and the 42 on hanging back here?
That's been 4. We'll pass it right through them.
Yeah, what Tony's worried about is these guys getting a run on him on this restart.
Yeah, these talking about those guys laying back and get that momentum going down the front straightaway, which would allow them to dive to the inside of him. He's wanting to be able to protect that and not let them. And NASCAR tells you need to stay on the rear bumper of that car in front of you.
Remember last year's restart here, how exciting it got in the final laps? Here was the restart. There is Montoya in front of Truex. Cap got there. They get into Harvick, entering turn 1. And then it was all about mano-mano, getting out and getting face-to-face or helmet-to-helmet with Harvick and Juan Pablo. And guess who's right behind Juan Pablo again today? How does this thing always work out in history? You look in the mirror, and there's the one car, I should say, Martin Truex Jr. right behind Juan Pablo Montoya. He's going to be aggressive.
And Kevin Harvick right behind him. So we have the three guys that really triggered that whole incident down in turn 1.
Remember, Truex
still has 6 more laps.
Yeah, Truex re-signed his contract, so he knows where he's going next year, so he's okay with DEI, so he can get aggressive.
We're going to see all of them get pretty aggressive right here. Kyle Busch has been really good on these restarts, making sure that he got his tires clean, got up through the gears, and didn't let anybody make a move on him down into turn 1. We'll see if that can happen again here with 5 laps to go if they get to the line.
Watch it, 21 and the 42. Will they lag back and try to get a run on Stewart in turn 1? They come down. It'll be 5 to go. Green flag for Kyle Busch, who takes off and pulls Tony Stewart by 8 car lengths. Here comes Marcus Ambrose to the inside and Truex. No contact in 1. Truex to the inside of Montoya, trying to take the spot away, and he will have it exiting turn 1.
Like Montoya was trying to make a move on Marcus Ambrose on the outside, and that just opened the door for Truex.
Yeah, Ambrose didn't get started off really good, and he seems to have a hard time right there getting started initially, and that's opened up the outside for those guys, but that cost Juan Pablo right there. Kyle Busch got a great restart, got a couple of car lengths on Tony, and that really helped him. That's really nice when you can get up there and get through the inner loop on this first turn.
A.J. Allmendinger picked up a couple of spots on that restart, able to make a pass.
It's like Montoya's already back by Truex.
4th position. We'll see if Truex can get after him again here. There's Harvick looking back at Truex, and right behind him is Kevin Harvick sneaking. They will make the hard right-hander turn 11.
Truex done a really good job today. We haven't talked a lot about him. We have mentioned him being up there, but he's done just a terrific job. And it looks like he's got a really fast car, trying to get a run back on Juan Pablo down into turn 1.
Harvick now looking to the inside. Truex covers a spot. Harvick can't afford to make a mistake either because Denny Hamlin and A.J. Allmendinger are right behind him.
There's a fine line getting into 1 of whether you can arc the car in to make a fast lap or you pull over to the right-hand side of the road just to protect so nobody gets underneath you.
Yeah, I think it's more about protecting right at this moment. If you can keep that guy back there, then you knocked his momentum down. We see Kyle Busch going through here, going through the inner loop. The rest of the guys coming through. Everybody's pretty much single file at this point in time.